By the end of this video, you will have built a tangible growth action plan. To start, grab a pen and a piece of paper. Right now, write down one specific ongoing challenge your team is facing. Look at this graphic displaying two icons. They represent two distinct ways we view ability. The gray light bulb with the lock represents a fixed mindset, the belief that talents and intelligence are static traits you are simply born with. The light bulb with the growing plant represents a growth mindset, the understanding that abilities can be developed through effort and strategy. When you tackle difficult tasks, your brain actually changes. This is neuroplasticity. Like a muscle adapting to heavier weights, your brain builds and strengthens new neural pathways when you struggle through a complex problem. When a manager faces an unpredictable crisis, they are forced to find new solutions and develop better judgment. Because your brain physically encodes these new strategies through neural growth, that period of intense uncertainty is the biological classroom where leadership skills are forged. Let's return to the challenge you wrote down. Now, list the specific triggers that make you anxious about it. Is it a looming deadline? The fear of failing in front of your superiors? Or perhaps anticipating a harsh critique? When those triggers hit, you likely hear an internal voice warning you to avoid the risk. Psychologists call this your fixed mindset persona. Its primary job is to protect your ego by keeping you in your comfort zone so you never have to feel the sting of failure. To strip this voice of its power, you need to separate it from your actual identity. Give your persona a name. Call it Anxious Andy or Doubting Donna. Write that name down next to your triggers. Now, write down exactly what that named persona is whispering to you about this challenge. Is it saying, "If you mess this up, they'll know you aren't qualified"? Capture that judging monologue on paper. Your next step is to educate that persona. Next to the negative warnings, draft a new response. Tell your persona that setbacks are simply data points showing you what doesn't work. Frame the upcoming struggle as a necessary step to figure out the right strategy. Everyone has this defensive persona. Recognizing its presence doesn't mean you are a weak leader. It means you are experiencing a universal human reaction to stress. By isolating those fearful thoughts into a separate character, you clear your mental workspace. You can look at a high-stakes problem objectively and make calculated decisions, rather than reacting out of self-preservation. When your organization is in flux, fixated entirely on final outcomes, like hitting a specific revenue target or launching a flawless product, can paralyze your team. If factors outside your control shift, outcome-based goals quickly feel impossible. Instead, you must anchor your team to the things you actually control. Pivot your focus toward the strategies you deploy, the processes you refine, and the daily effort you invest. To do this, use the 3Ws goal-setting framework. First, ask yourself, what are the learning opportunities here? Then, define the specifics. When, where, and how will I embark on my plan? Look at your piece of paper and write down one effort-based goal for your challenge using this structure. For example, I will review our failed deployments for 30 minutes every Tuesday morning to adjust our testing strategy. Measuring success by the execution of a process gives your team immediate, achievable wins. This creates psychological safety, keeping them engaged and moving forward even when the final finish line keeps moving. Now, let's translate this mindset to the people you lead. Think about the challenge you've been outlining and write down the name of one specific team member working on it with you. When this person does well, your instinct might be to praise their natural intelligence or innate talent. But telling someone they are a genius sets a dangerous trap. The moment they struggle, they will assume they've lost that genius status and will stop taking risks to protect their image. This graphic shows us the alternative. Looking at the top examples, instead of saying, "You are a brilliant data scientist," focus your praise on the process. Say, "You worked really hard to find the right solution, and the strategy you used works really well." You also need to watch out for the false growth mindset. This happens when managers ignore mistakes entirely to spare someone's feelings. Real growth requires open, shame-free analysis of what went wrong. Looking at the bottom examples on this chart, instead of a rigid critique like, "You aren't technical enough," frame the gap as a learning target. You have an opportunity to develop your technical skills here. Take a moment to write out a specific feedback script for the team member you named. Plan exactly how you will praise their strategy, or how you will frame their current struggle as a roadmap for skill development. The words you choose as a manager dictate your environment. By consistently validating effort and strategy over innate talent, you prove to your team that it is safe to take calculated risks, make mistakes, and innovate. Look at the paper in front of you. You have successfully translated a high-stress problem into a concrete growth action plan. You've identified your specific triggers and named the fearful persona they awaken. You've drafted a resilient internal narrative, mapped out process-driven goals using the 3 Ws, and scripted feedback to guide your team through the struggle. Mindset shifting requires continuous repetition. Every daily trigger presents a new opportunity to notice your rigid thoughts and consciously rewrite them into growth-oriented ones. Keep this piece of paper visible at your workstation. Let it serve as your baseline the next time a budget shifts, a deadline compresses, or a new initiative causes friction. Leading with a growth mindset changes the trajectory of a crisis. Instead of freezing under the weight of the unknown, your team learns to extract usable data from every setback, allowing you to move forward while others are still waiting for the pressure to subside.